to a global morning. It's a great Friday and an amazing weekend upon us. What more can we say than to just express our gratitude for gift of life? And again, like I always say, there's no better time to be alive than today, regardless of all the challenges we're dealing with as individuals, or even as a people, or as a country, or as a government. We will win in the end, and this storm, of course, will be over. I'm Agmofwegbe, send a big thank you to you for joining us here on the program today. My colleague Priscilla Obasi, whose remit is to show up twice a week. I'm excited to have her on the program today. You know, when you always have Ramsey on the show, man to man kind of thing. So when you have a lady who brings all of that presence, just changes the entire flavor for you and, of course, for our viewers. Priscilla, it's good to see you.
Good to be here. Yeah, good to see you too.
I was going to calculate the amount of time for which you have not been on the show, but I'm also sure my math is very good this morning.
Well,
2 days.
My second time a week.
Yeah, I'm saying the time in between Tuesday. It's 2 days, really.
Yeah, 2 days.
Some 48 hours, I think. Yeah. All right, so I don't know if you saw the match, Nigerian match yesterday with Gabon. Did you watch?
Yeah, I didn't watch, but
You listened to your husband and his friends run their own commentary.
Of course, I saw the whole victory going on the internet, and I mean,
Right.
it's such a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, so it brings a lot of beautiful memories. There was a time Nigeria used to do very well,
Right.
in sports. At some point, it looked as if it wasn't coming forth again.
Mhm.
And then recently, we've been catching up. So, I mean,
Yeah, I think for me, well, I was at work for more than the first half of the period. Sorry, I should say the match, and then I left and headed home. But then I realized that people were very agitated about how we were doing at some point. The trajectory didn't look very good, and the future didn't look promising, and all of that. But Nigeria came from, as they say, nowhere, and the rest is history. But there are things that stick out for me from that match. Is the fact that there are things we are missing, which we only get to realize when Nigeria plays. I mean, when the Super Eagles get to hit the pitch, which is the factor of unity. Yesterday, people watched Muslims, Christians, and those in between. Then nobody cared about where you came from, what language you spoke. Everybody was more about the Nigeria team. All right? And then you were wondering, why is it that we can't replicate that when it comes to how we treat our country, when it comes to loyalty to the Constitution, when it comes to love for country, as they say, and things like that. So do we have to play football match every day to strengthen Nigeria's unity?
Well, I mean, we want to say, it's natural in a way. And when couples live together, there are things that they always agree on.
Right.
And there are things that they will never agree on.
Sure.
Yeah, so, but then it has to be a deliberate effort. You know? If we really want unity as a nation, it has to be, a deliberate effort. We have to sometimes intentionally play foolish, right? Because that's what, in a way, brings unity. And then when there's a common goal, we know that this is where we're going to. But most times, I don't think we have a common goal as a nation, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Every politician comes with their goal, and they use their goal to, somehow, they play a big role in bringing about this unity somehow, really somehow. So a common goal should be to take our nation from point A to point B. You get to add this, include this infrastructure, and of course carry everybody along.
Right.
When the whole goal is not reflecting the strength or the unity or the progress of every tribe, every ethnic group, it begins to become a problem. So the onus lies on our leaders to make sure that their goal reflects progress, in every ethnic group and every tribe in Nigeria.
Right. And what we have found most, for the most part, is a system where every politician, top to bottom, says we must be united, we have to unite our country across religious, ethnic, and regional lines. But then you realize that it will appear that these politicians talk from both sides of their mouth. When you look at their actions, you can't squarely match them with their words. Yes, that shows you that there's as lawyers will put it, a lacuna in leadership in this regard, which simply means that we must have this sort of leadership that practically unites, work hard, work long enough, work smart enough to unite our country beyond football. Like I said, we can't play football every day, but we can be united every day. We may disagree on issues, but we don't have to show animosity. We don't have to express bitterness and hate and all of the bad blood about that. We don't have to judge people on the basis of where they are from, region, how they worship. These are things that people have inalienable rights to do. You don't have to like how one person worships. And the other person doesn't have to be impressed by how you worship, as long as you do not inconvenience them and they also do not inconvenience you with how they worship.
I think the whole problem now stems from that inconvenience you're talking about. Because we like to inconvenience. We like to always show that mine is better.
It's superior.
It's superior. We always want to show it. We don't even want to, keep it to ourselves. And just have that belief on ourselves. But we want to prove to that neighbor. We want to prove to that, that our tribe is better than. I think that's where the problem stems from. So we can actually have, different tribes, different religion, and live together if we learn to respect each other's, our differences. That is just the way forward. But I mean, it's possible. But the question is, are we ready? Do we really want to? Because our religious leaders teaches us yours is better. That our traditional leaders wants to impose ours is better, and that's where it starts from. Nobody is better than anybody. We're all pencils in the hand of the Creator, like they say. So we are all creatures of the Creator. He did not create another person. Another person did not create you. So we must learn to respect that we were all created. There's just that thing that is common amongst every one of us, that we did not create and we are just creators. So we should learn to treat each other with that respect in that regard. Yeah.
I think we also need to appreciate the fact that what ties us fundamentally and essentially is nationality. It's not religion. All right. Growing up, I mean, I grew up, I was born and raised in the South, right? So when you're in the South, you just assume that everybody in the North, A to Z, top to bottom, end to end, is a Muslim.
Yeah.
Add to that, there's the erroneous assumption that everybody is Hausa. So as far as a guy in the South is concerned, the average guy, the typical guy, everybody in the North is Hausa.
Isn't that what they taught us in?
And that's a problem. Studies. A lot of misconceptions. All right. Then you get up to the North for the first time, you realize that there are several more tribes than you ever will figure out your entire life. All right. So we must learn to educate. Civic education must be there. History must be there. I remember, my father comes to mind, blessed memory. He grew up in the North, right? He lived between Sokoto and Kano, for example. Growing up, the bulk of his friends were Hausa soldiers. They would speak Hausa because there you would have soldiers go around to guard, patrol, and stuff like that, right? So they would pull up in front of our house. My father would start speaking Hausa with them from at about dinner time till late in the night. My mom would practically have to compel him to go to bed, things like that. My father was not a Muslim. But what connected him with these guys was far beyond religion. Like my mom would say, he grew up amongst them. They didn't kill him. So he's back to the South now. They continue to be his friends. So I'm saying that to say that when we distort facts, when we push religion as a narrative, we know what we are doing is deliberate. And politicians also don't help matters. So somebody wants to run for president. The first thing you're looking at is, will Muslims vote for him? Will Christians favor him? All right, nobody is asking what is the percentage of Nigerians beyond religion, ethnicity, and region that will vote for our candidates. So we have a lot of work in front of politicians. That's a fact. Of course, as citizens, we must all play our part and ensure that we continue to take responsibility. Again, we cannot play a football match every other day just because we want to strengthen unity. Yes, but on the basis of how we interact with ourselves, the kind of interface and conversations we have, we can continue to strengthen that common bond that unites Nigerians across board. We're taking a quick break now. It's a Friday, but of course, we can use some motivation today. And here is Ramsey Enoch Agbo just pumping some adrenaline into our viewers.
Hello, it is a beautiful day. I'm excited to come your way again with Heart to Heart. Can we talk heart to heart a little bit? Let's get ourselves inspired. In case you don't know, every day come loaded for you. In every day, there is something for you. But what is the place of hope for our everyday life? Today, we want to look at hope a little bit. Some people are hopeless already, because of the things happening around them, because of their background. But then, a lot of people don't know that their background does not have the ability to put their back on the ground. But you put your back on the ground before your background even tell on you. You don't know you can break through those hurdles. You can. Let's look at hope. I want to build your hope a little bit today on the program. Let's see what Desmond Tutu have to say about hope. As a matter of fact, according to Desmond Tutu, he said hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. You see light when people are seeing darkness. That's what makes it different. That is exactly what makes you unique. Because what others are seeing, you are seeing a different thing. Where others are seeing difficulty, where others are living hopelessly, you see hope all the way. That's what makes you stand out. That's what makes you break through. Let me just give us a little background about what hope is and how you can stay hopeful and the benefit and importance of hope. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to know that hope is the invisible thread, all right, that pulls us through the darkest times. Invisible thread. What did I say? Invisible thread. This thread is invisible, but you need to develop the eyes of the mind to be able to see this thread that is capable of pulling you through the darkest times. Some people don't know dark times are always there, but you have what it takes to see light, vision. Have you ever come to think about what happens when light appears in darkness? It will appear as if darkness has never been there. That is the presence of light. And that can only happen for a man, a woman who is hopeful. I would also like to let you know that it doesn't deny the presence of pain or challenges. They are always there. Inasmuch as the earth remain, inasmuch as we are here, the tough times are always there. The challenges are always there. The pains are always there. But there is something that makes you unique and stand out. Living your life with the mentality and the mindset that this darkness, this pain, these challenges are not capable to stop you of meeting up with your dream. I'd like to let you know that these challenges, these pains, this darkness gives us reason to keep moving forward. That's what it means. That mentality that you can surmount the hopeless situations around you, in your environment, in your home, in your workplace, in your business places, that single mentality is capable of keeping you moving. You keep moving, you keep moving. I tell people all the time, there is something that is very important in life. That is the mentality that, yes, it's good to fly. To be a flyer, a high flyer, to be a high flyer is not negotiable. You want to fly, but if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk at least. If you can't walk at all, you are incapacitated with maybe situations, the dark times, the challenges. Instead of you not to be mobile at all, please crawl. What did I say? You have to fly. You are supposed to be known as a high flyer, full of hope. But then if you can't fly, that's not the end of it. Be able to do what? To run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, be mobile. What did I say? By all means, be hopefully mobile. Because there is hope for the living. And I'm so glad that I'm talking about hope today, because in times of despair, when everything else feels uncertain and broken, when hope provides a glimpse of something better on the horizon, it allows people to rise above their present and current circumstances, no matter how, no matter the situation, no matter the grim, no matter what they see, because they believe that change is still possible. That is what hope is all about. But then you should also remember that I am talking about Desmond Tutu today because he's a man of hope. Desmond Tutu has a quote. What does the quote say? That quote that we just read before we got started reminds me personally that hope isn't about just ignoring difficulties. Ignoring difficulty is not just it all, but I believe that it is about believing that difficulties won't last forever. That is how a man of hope thinks, reasons, that difficulties, what did I say, doesn't last forever. It is for a time. You know, let me say this, this might surprise some persons, but do you know that if you are always surrendering to difficult times, difficulties will always want to embrace you. That's what it means. But if you know that this difficulty is for just a moment, then you keep pushing, you keep pushing, you keep pushing, pulling out, putting forth for light. Because that is darkness. With that hope and that belief that difficult times, challenges, pains don't last forever, gives you the hope that light will soon shine in the midst of that dark time. And I also want you to know that it is time that we all need to give light the chance. In whatever we do, we need to give light, what did I say, the chance. Because I think I need to say this. If I don't say it, then I don't think I'm doing anyone any good. Let me just inform us that it is light that guides us when all else fails. It is hope that keeps us moving even when we don't know what is going to happen next, but we believe that all things will work together for our good. And that's the reason it's very necessary for us to stay hopeful. And when nurtured, hope can inspire action. Did you hear what I said? When nurtured, that is to tell you that hope somehow, according to my belief, is a living thing that needs to be nurtured. And when it is well nurtured, something happens. Should I tell you what happens when hope is nurtured? Hope can inspire action. Because if you have the hope that yes, this thing is possible, you put apparatus together to work towards the possibility of that particular thing that we are talking about. So hope can inspire action, renew strength, and rekindle the human spirit. It also gives meaning to endurance and helps people stay anchored on everything around them. Especially when things around you is shifting, shaky, there are storms, there are dark times, people don't believe you anymore because of one situation or the other. And you stay hopeful because you are seeing something that no one else is seeing. And that keeps you going. That keeps you going. You keep building your hope. You keep emphasizing on the things that can make you stand out in everything that you do. All right, I believe someone's hope has been restored today. I believe someone who is about giving up, someone who feels there is no hope anymore because of a particular situation, is getting the hope revived again. Please revive your hope. Nurture it, build it, allow it to grow, and it will keep you going. Rekindle that hope again. Maybe you were hopeful, but at some point in time something happened and the light of your hope dipped down and it's nowhere to be found right now. Go look for it. Get that hope back again. Stay hopeful and stay on track. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Thank you.
for still being here with us. I hope you are motivated for the weekend by that very piece there. We'll go straight to the newspaper review segment, and we'll start with the first paper here, which is the Daily Trust. First story, Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya presents 2026 budget proposal of 535.69 billion naira, tagged budget of consolidation, to the National Assembly. Let's go to the big story here, which is PDP on PDP convention. Delegates arrive in Badan amidst call for caretaker committee. How I have managed diabetes for 20 years, and that's coming from a 75 years old man. Reps ask WAEC to suspend CBT for 2026 exams, and that detail is on page 38. Nigeria inch closer to the 2026 World Cup ticket. You find that detail on page 47. And finally, we have marketers welcome suspension of 15% fuel import levy, and you find that detail on page 24. This should be some good news. Let's go to the next paper, which is the Daily Independent.
All right, there we go. So first of all, on the Daily Independent, we have a headline here that says, the big one actually, inflation seen easing to 16.29%, but tight policy to remain. All right, well, that looks like some progress significantly, because at the point it was twice that number. ADC slams Tinubu over 1.15 trillion naira loan, alleges fiscal recklessness. Board of Trustees confident PDP convention can hold, cites legal clearance. Senate backs bill to ban recruitment of minors into armed forces. Have we been doing that? Well, there's a rider to it. Probes stamp duty revenue generation utilization. We are building a confident judiciary, says NJI administrator. That's the National Judicial Institute administrator. I have great respect for the armed forces, says Wike. He said that yesterday, and we had it on tape. In fact, it was part of our news as reported by Kabir Hassan.
He also said he doesn't regret his actions.
So what would you have expected him to do? Because we understand that his media aide, Larry Olayinka, had reportedly apologized on his principal's behalf. Does that cut it? Is it sufficient?
How does he apologize on? And then the principal had his own fair chance to apologize and didn't.
He didn't seize it?
No, he didn't seize it. So, I mean, this is going to be a long one. I don't think it's over until it's over, because there are still a lot of people yet to speak about it.
Right.
So, yeah, so my fingers are crossed to see how...
Just to support what you said, I mean, we understand that a panel has now been set up on this same issue, and retired military generals are, we understand, fuming over that. Maybe they're not so comfortable with the idea of setting up a panel. But then the leadership of defense has also made very clear that it will support every member of the armed forces across the board who is on legal duty. That's a strong message, obviously.
It is.
Well, let's bring you a few more headlines quickly, everyone, still from the Daily Independent newspaper today. Again, federal government insists no threat to religious freedom in Nigeria. Find those details on page 6. Stakeholders move to end accord party tussle, suspend rival faction. Suspension of 15% fuel import duty viewed as timely economic relief. All right, TUC President Osifo was on live television yesterday addressing some of these issues. Tinubu praises Super Eagles over 4-1 defeat of Gabon. I know of somebody who charged significantly less for his service yesterday. He said he was in a happy mood on account of the fact that the Super Eagles were beginning to show promise. So you can imagine how much of magic can be done when people actually connect through this kind of game or event. All right, those are your headlines from the Daily Independent newspaper. Do yourself a favor, look up details when you pick up a copy. And then we'll move on now to the Nation newspaper, which has probably just about 2-3 headlines.
Yeah, the Nation newspaper appears to be scanty, but let's go through the few stories here. AMCON official lawyers face contempt charges for alleged contravention of court orders. And the big story, Saraki writes off PDP convention. That detail is on page 2, and those are your headlines for the Nation newspaper.
Like we said, it wasn't much there, right? But be sure you read up details as well as we now flip it over to the Nigerian Tribune for you. We begin with the headlines above the name mast. First one here, top left corner, says federal government halts planned 15% import duty on petrol, diesel. Troops foil abduction of 74 NYSC members in Borno. How misinformation on capital gains tax sparked 4.6 trillion naira market loss. Was it misinformation that sparked those losses, or was it the Trump threats on security, criminals in Nigeria? We have to get to those details right so we don't begin to peddle narratives as against the facts. All right, but in any case, you can find those details on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune today with a picture of Minister of Finance, who doubles as the coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun. And then the Star headline tells us, I have respect for military, but abhor lawlessness, credited to Mr. Nyesom Wike, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Details on page 2. However, there are two riders with the headline. FCT Minister carrying out his statutory responsibilities, but again, that's Falana SAN speaking. Ex-CDS Irabo faults Wike's action. All right. Reps move to suspend 2026 WAEC computer-based examination policy. We understand that suspension is till 2030. That's for a 5-year period.
Well,
but is it not better late than never? I mean, put your house in order, get the right things done, address fundamentals instead of rushing to the marketplace without a good product to sell.
The question for me now is, how do we have this kind of back and forth? Why was everything not considered in the beginning? Why do you fix a date and then go back to see that it's not working?
No, apparently what the leadership of WAEC, the West African Examination Council, had already taken that route. But then the lawmakers now looks at it and says, look, this is not going to work for XYZ reasons. Let's get it right. So we're not beginning to speak a lot of grammar around glitches today and glitches tomorrow. But you see, that's the reason wide consultations are also very crucial, all right? Because nobody can do all of these things all by themselves.
We're always in a hurry to...
Yes, maybe prove a point, impress the public.
And we don't even set committees to make sure that it is well thoroughly carried out. We just just impose a policy and that's the end. Nobody cross-checks, nobody goes back to say, is it working, is it not working? Same thing with the whole 2020, the reform, the education reform, that included new subjects like coding, robotics, subjects like, a lot of new subjects were added. How many people from the Ministry of Education are being appointed to ensure that these subjects have the appropriate teachers, and it is being taught by virtually school
specialists in those fields.
Exactly. So we don't even know now. This is just a reform that was imputed or that was implemented to, I think, to just segregate, because how many people in the rural areas will be able to carry out these courses? So we like policies. It's exciting to want to copy.
What's happening across the world. But can you domesticate it effectively?
Can you domesticate it effectively is the question. We don't do all of that. So 2026, you're bringing up, from a reform to make WAEC CBT. Does those people or do those guys in the rural areas know how to even use the computer, not talk of writing the CBT exams? How well would you write exams with computer that you don't have knowledge of? Don't you know that it brings tension in the first place, and that tension can actually affect your performance.
Flusters you.
Exactly. So these are the things we need to consider. We need to take our baby steps first, before we try to copy what's happening around the world.
Well, as they say in economics and development, let's look for the low-hanging fruits. The rest will fall in place by default. All right. Let's go wrap it up now. Looking at the Nigerian Tribune for you today. Says Senate launches probe into stamp duty revenue. Page 27 is where you would find those details. NCP approves BPE move to cede Afan Power Plant to Transcore Power Consortium. PDP seeks to join Bayelsa Deputy Governor suit against moves to impeach him. And then there's this part I like a lot, has to do with health. Bottom right, chronic kidney disease is now 9th leading cause of death globally. That's according to Lancet study. Chronic kidney disease is now 9th leading cause of death globally. You can find those details on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. All right, well, you can read about other details as well regarding those headlines. Too. Let's move to The Guardian, and Priscilla has the headlines for us.
Okay, so the first story on The Guardian here is enforcement of expired exportee orders against Nestor Nekonde unlawful. Okay, Senate considers bills subjecting military convictions to court review. The final detail on page 3. ASU may resume full-blown strike on November 21 over selective implementation of pacts. That's a sad one. It's a sad one for me personally. You find a detail on page 3. Nigeria supplied 12.6 million barrels of Dangote, says NMDPRA. You find that detail on page 3. Now let's go to the big story, which you will find on pages 4 and 5. Anti-Torture Act at 8. Victims bear scars, endure trauma as law remains on paper. Passengers stranded after train breaks down in Kaduna. This train mishap is becoming, a thing. That detail is on page 9. Tax burden on airlines threatens aviation sector operators. Warn, and that detail is on page 7. Confusion crisis swirls around PDP convention amidst conflicting court order. I don't understand how we have conflicting court order. Is it that we have different courts giving different orders in disunity? Because I cannot even comprehend it. Somebody comes out to say, this is the order the court gave me. There are periods there are situations where people are fighting for land with different court orders.
Over the same matter.
Over the same matter.
Incidentally, it's as if you are aware that that's what we discussed this week on Scale of Justice. My guest was talking about how that is a fundamental problem we must deal with. We should be concerned about it. It doesn't impact well on the image of the judiciary, right? So how do you explain that? I have an issue with Priscilla Obasi, for example. So I say, I don't want to take the laws into my hand. I go to the Federal High Court, Abuja. And I say, look, this laptop belongs to me. Priscilla says it belongs to her. And the court says, well, this laptop actually belongs to Priscilla. How you found it in your possession, we don't know. However, with immediate effects, relinquish possession to Priscilla. And then I run to one other court in my state. And the court says, no way, that laptop belongs to Uyi. As a matter of fact, Uyi has had that laptop for more than 6 years, so must be returned. Then Priscilla now goes to a magistrate court. And the court says, well, there's nothing we can do about it. That laptop actually belongs to Priscilla. On account of that, we are going to uphold
laptop.
Yes, the former, the ruling of the Federal High Court in Abuja. So you have that back and forth, and it just drags for reasons that are embarrassing, and it just makes us slow, makes development run at snail speed for us as a people, especially when it's political matter.
I think it's basically because we don't have a good database system in Nigeria.
You think that would be a solution to this problem?
Yes, because for a Priscilla that goes to court, it should be registered, and that should be documented across.
But it's not even about the second court, as it were, is aware of the ruling of the previous court. But maybe new facts have been presented. Yeah. Maybe the same facts have been presented. Maybe a bit of sentiment from whatever angle now have played a role. So I think those are really the issues, and that's why you realize that. I'll give you an example. In the States, if you have land dispute with state governments, and you say you are going to court, people tell you, my brother, don't bother yourself. You can't win the state government in the state high court. That's a problem. We should all be extremely bothered about it. And then you have, for example, a matter that has to do with maybe a kingdom or a dukedom in the States, and the governor is interested in that matter. And then the party that has gone to court against the governor or the state government is to, look, I know you're doing the right thing, but I cannot guarantee that you're going to get justice because this is a state high court and the governor is interested. We've seen cases where even a state attorney general and commissioner for justice said clearly on primetime news, well, not in his prime here, that look, the governor is interested in this case. The governor has interest in this case. Therefore, this case must go in favor of the state government. This was a senior lawyer. So when you have situations like that, it makes you question. In fact, there's already naturally question mark over the judiciary. But we understand now that there are reforms being driven under the new leadership. And we hope that those reforms will come to fruition early enough, right?
Well, we hope, actually, because we can only hope. Let's go to the next story. AU chief dismisses genocide claims as Obi tasks editor on nation building. That detail is on page 6. Okay, I think we've taken that. Tax burden earns. Okay, finally we have ADC says fresh, what is that? Fresh 1.15 trillion naira loans exposes Tinubu's addiction to reckless debt. And that's the final story. That detail is on page 3. Let's go to the next paper, which is the Vanguard.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. So we begin from the one above the name mass here for you. It says, AMCON officials and lawyers face alleged contempt charges for contravention of court orders. The writer says, Bala Alade Lamidi Adagbe Dan Anu served Form 48 notice. No religious prosecution, genocide in Nigeria, Idris Tugar, AU, out of the matter of 2 or 3 witnesses, this appears to be now. Then the writer, in fact, 2 writers there tell us, PFN asks Trump to support Tinubu against insecurity, rejects military threats. Trump echoed what Nigerians of good conscience have been saying. Peter Obi is the one to whom that is credited. And then some sport for you quickly. Nigeria 4, Gabon 1, Osimhen should Super Eagles past Gabon to meet Congo DRC in playoff final Sunday. Those details are on page 29, especially for those who missed the match. Plus, Sunday is a big day coming, and I'm sure Nigerians and indeed Africans are all prepped for that. Okay, well, those are your headlines from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Time to take a look at First Daily newspaper for you.
Okay, so on the First Daily newspaper, we have the first story. PANDEF demands national apology for Wiki. Condemns NAFO officers' conduct. Well, I said this is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're not in the end to it. Let's see who would come next after this. Let's go to the next story. PFN to Trump. Work with Tinubu to curb insecurity. Not threaten Nigeria. Okay, I reserve my comments. NAFDAC destroys 20 billion naira worth of fake expired products in Ibadan. Atiku refutes claims of gifting SUV to naval officer in Wike's disputes. I think I saw that on the internet. The internet is a space where everything just goes. PDP board of trustees affirms convention will proceed, blames crisis on internal conflict. To the big story, reckless debt wrapped in propaganda. ADC blasts Tinubu 1.15 trillion naira loan. Opposition warns Nigeria's sinking deeper into unsustainable borrowing. I think the borrowing has been so much in the last,
It's been raining and pouring at the same time.
It's been raining,
back to back, right?
I'm telling you, it's just it's really uncomfortable.
But there are people who are now saying that the real challenge is not even the borrowing. I mean, we can worry about that all night, but we also need to worry about something that is even more disturbing, which is the question of, do we see commensurate value between what we are borrowing and what kind of development that we're saying?
That's the question.
How do we even measure progress. You know, we live in a system, and this is a shame, where it is government that tells you what it has done, even when in some of these cases or most of these instances, there are no scientific or concrete evidences to show. And we should live in a system where it is the people. I mean, let's go down to the grassroots. It should be, for example, the people in a small community who are saying that we didn't have a local health facility in this community before now, but today, on account of this intervention by this local government chairman, this councillor, this governor, this lawmaker, or even the president, the story has changed for the better. That's the kind of testimonial we should be reading, not the person to whom much has been given now, telling us what they've done, especially when they can't, like I said, show, you know, evidences of what they've done. And so yesterday, while in the middle of the Nigerian Gabon march, and somebody was saying that, look, it's amazing how, in most cases, you even hear of governments, state governors, and even the president, the executive, state and federal, talking about how that 3 billion, for example, has been earmarked for this ministry or for this agency. But you're asking yourself, too, how much of that, well, budget, because it's a budget, was released. It's like me saying on live television, yesterday was Priscilla's birthday. I'm just saying yesterday was not her birthday, all right? We're going to ensure that we'll give her a brand new car as soon as Global Money ends today and all of that. Now, everybody who hears that on television goes home with the conviction, with the mindset, with the impression that a car will be given to this lady in less than 2 hours. Yes. All right, so the next time the person sees you are driving your old car, or you're not even driving a car at all, they're like, hold on a second, did you sell that car they gave you? Because the assumption, they're talking from the standpoint of the promise that had been made to you on live television. So it's the same thing we find with budgeting. You hear, for example, 60 billion has been earmarked, 4 trillion has been earmarked for health or for education. All through that budgetary cycle, how much is released? And then even from what has been released, no matter how insignificant it may or may not be, how much was expended and what value can we look at today and say, this is where we are impressed, and we would like to see government do more? Because it is when you have done something at all, can be talking about you doing more. If you haven't done anything, well,
we're talking about you doing.
Right.
It now looks as if the whole borrowing thing is more like an investment for those politicians. Borrow and save. Because
accountability is at its lowest ebb.
Nobody's accounting for whatever is being borrowed, and we're not seeing the impact of the borrowing. Then when they leave office, we now hear Nigeria, the next president comes and says, oh, I meant this country in so much. That's what we get to hear. Every tenure or every change of every new president, the new president comes and says, the state in which I met this country, I have to start doing, and then he starts to borrow again, and then he goes, and that one comes. So that is the cycle.
So what happened to all the borrowings that had taken place 4 years before you, 8 years before you?
That's the question. No accountability whatsoever. Who will help us, to just fix all of this? We don't know. But I mean, I believe that there is hope. Let's go to, I think, was it my
the first daily?
Okay, so FG scraps planned 15% import duty on diesel, petrol diesel. Ned Nwoko denies marrying Regina Daniels as a minor. Somebody said this Regina Daniels and Ned issue is now everywhere. Sometimes I'm afraid of opening my fridge
because both of them are just pop up.
They're just everywhere. You go everywhere, you see them on the internet. And I really hope that this comes to an end soon, because I mean, it's getting dirty at this moment. Everybody's just,
for what is supposed to be an issue between a couple.
I'm telling you, we saw Ned Nwoko come out yesterday to release her medical results on the internet space. I mean, that is so that is so low. And then we see a clap back. I'm sure we're expecting a clap back. So it's just getting
back and forth.
I'm wondering, is it that these people don't have village people that join them together? Even when it was a traditional marriage, you guys go to that person that's
no uncle, no elder.
It's just messy. Anyways, stamp duty.
But again, they say when the foundation be destroyed. Right.
That is it. That is it. Stamp duty theft. Senate to probe revenue laws. The main issue between I just want to just talk about this a bit. Regina, right now the age thing is the conflicting age.
Right.
There has been I think it was her voter's card that came out, and it showed that she was more than 25. And then Showeri comes out with her passports. Now,
the data page of her international passport.
And shows that she was 17. She was 17 when she got married. So the whole conflicting age, and everybody's wondering which one.
When she got married, some of us heard 18. A few weeks or months down the line, we heard 19. So that would be 4 ages.
Exactly. We had 17, we had 18, we had 19. At some point, we had 20. So I think there was a foul play. More of maybe the family didn't want to really come out to say she was underage. So we kind of,
bump her age
so that it looked normal.
Right.
And right now that there's a crisis, everybody wants to now spill the truth. So Ned Nwoko, according to Showeri, made I think a voter's card for her and bumped her age, increased her age, so that he could hold that as an evidence and all of that. So it's just really messy at this point. But I mean,
it's such a shame, but we hope this too passes real soon. You may say it's a private issue, but it's an eyesore. And there are people who say, look, we must interfere. After all, we didn't ask them to bring it to the public space. Therefore, it's now our business. Those people you call virtual or online in-laws. Yeah, and they're all over the place.
Now let's go to the weekend and National Star.
All right, well, weekend is upon us, no doubt, but here we have a couple of headlines. First of all, with a picture of Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Elausa, says why federal government adopted English language for primary education instruction official. Insecurity, troops foil abduction of 74 corps members in Brno. ADC blasts Tinubu over 1.15 trillion naira loan, says FG addicted to debt. Takes us to the big story, the big headline here. PDP convention is your kicker. Judiciary on trial as federal state high courts flex muscles. Abuja Federal Court takes on Oyo State High Court as factions battle for control. Stop Ibadan convention before it tears party apart, Saraki tells Board of Trustees. Of course, Saraki's position is that the party leaders, or as they call them, elders, should consult more widely before going further with this convention. But would that be the case for an elective convention that has been scheduled for 15 and 16 of November 2025? All right. No, it must hold, Wabara insists. Conflicting judgments, orders, not judicial failure. NGI. All of those very disturbing and embarrassing details are on page 2 of the Weekend National Star. Federal government backtracks, suspends 15% fuel import duty amid public outcry. Promises steady supply, monitoring to prevent shortages. Action set back Nigeria's economic reform drive. Okay, that's from Ogunsima. On page 16 is where you will find those details. 2026 FIFA World Cup. Super Eagles trash Gabon 4-1. Keep qualification hopes alive. ASU accuses federal government of undermining negotiation process. WAEC is Sakika refs directs suspension of planned 2026 CBT examination, right? Read up those details from the Weekend National Star today. Let's go take a look at another paper, our penultimate paper, by the way. That's the Daily Monitor.
Okay, so Daily Monitor has its first story as NCC assures Nigerians of safe, accessible digital space. Well, I'm not so sure because the telecoms right now is in that space where we don't even know which one is working. Reps move to suspend 2026 via computers-based exam policy. That detail is on page 5. Penderson urges PENCOM all measures to tackle pension inequalities. You find that detail on page 3. Insecurity. 6 defense ministry directors abducted in Kogi. That's a sad one. That detail is on page 5. Federal government suspends planned 15 import duty on PMST. So I think this very story is a bit funny. It appears as though our leaders are using us to play some power tussle games. So this day, one party is leading, and it appears on the paper. The policy is made out of the victory. Another day, the other party, leads. Somehow they just find their way to victory. It appears on the national daily.
Right.
So it's a case of, power tussle and Nigerians being fed with the results of the part or so on.
That's right.
On the paper. I mean, it is Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria. The Wike defiled top military chiefs' advice. That's coming from the defense minister as a kicker face-off with...
so obviously the gentleman was advised.
Exactly. And then we have 3 riders to that. Says confrontation with Lieutenant Commander Yerima unfortunate. I have respect for military but abhor lawlessness, says FCT minister. Ex-CDS Irabor faults public reaction on to Wike's saga, says uniform symbolizes state power. So we don't even know where the whole thing is going to now, because you say you respect the law, and it's part of what we're talking about the land disputes that, we've seen a lot of drama with land and Wike in the Federal Capital Territory. People go to court and say, the court has given me an order to stay here.
Right.
Wike comes to say, this is not, the federal government is not in the plan. It's not in the whatever. And he comes to say it is invalid. So it is a problem. I mean, it's becoming a national problem. Land disputes in the Federal Capital Territory is becoming a national problem, because this is part of what's, stirred up the whole drama between the Wike and the naval officer. A plot of land had been given to a particular person. They say they have the right to this space, and you come to say you do not have the right. So who fixes all of this? I mean, why do we have such disparity in information?
It's interesting, and that's why we also need to do our background checks. We also need to do our own due diligence. But then again, those public officers, whether you are elected or appointed, as I will always say, must know that they have a responsibility, and that is not negotiable, to make information available to the public, especially when we even get to a point where those in civil society, those in the media are now invoking the Freedom of Information Act. All right, you must. It's interesting how somebody's in an office. All right, sometimes even appointers, and you are playing the demigod card, and nobody can ask questions, nobody can query, nobody can raise concern about the projects you're executing, nobody can question how you are allocating resources, or you are hiring, how you are recruiting. I mean, this is something that is done with taxpayers' money. So are you saying citizens or residents cannot ask questions about their own resources?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you come to Nigeria again. Of course, we are still in Nigeria. You realize that the average governor carries themselves with this aura of a demigod, of, there's this God complex, there's this what I like to call an emperoric kind of tendency, where everybody has to be afraid of the governor, everybody has to be shaking. This is not to say that you need to disrespect the office of the governor. No. The governor is indeed a servant to the people. The only thing that is different is the leading servant of the people. Yeah. Because as far as that state is concerned, there are different people who are serving in different capacities, but he's the lead servant. And that's why when former governor of Niger State called himself the chief servant, a lot of persons saw that was in line, with what should be ideal. Yeah. All right, but again, whether he was chief servant of that state or not is left for the people. He led for 8 years to determine. But we're saying that the governor is a servant. That's much, so much of that must be narrowed down so that people understand that the governor owes you explanation. You award a road, for example. The people who are going to use that road, the people for whom that road is meant, are saying that we are concerned about how much was awarded. We are concerned about the delay of how this project is being executed. And the governor says, I'm angry, pause that project. It shouldn't go ahead. The leader of that community spoke to me in a way I don't like. We see in Nigeria where a governor refuses to fix a road because a member of the opposition party has or owns a house on that road or in that neighborhood. Yeah. And you're wondering, as they say in Pidgin, who do us like this? All right, but again, they say it's politics, but it looks...
it shouldn't be politics.
Politics with a small spike of evil in it.
It now looks as if every FCT minister that has been appointed is appointed to come and, focus on lands and people's houses. Because we have seen that played, we see that play out, some years ago with the former FCT Minister El Rufai. Although some people commended him for the great work. But we should see progress in FCT beyond lands and houses. Right. Let's talk about the health sector. Let's talk about the educational sector. In this same FCT, we had children, primary schools on strike for a long period of time. For over 4 months, they were at home not going to school. Right. And we had an FCT minister going about lands disputes, you know, and I mean, it's okay to, we see the great projects, we see the roads and everything, but can we go beyond all of this and look at other sectors of
health, education,
exactly, of the environment, and not focus on just one part? Because somehow I just feel like it favors, there's a particular part that they are more interested in, because somehow they want to benefit after their tenure in that environment and go. So, I mean, they should be held accountable. You are called a public servant for a reason. It is, you can be questioned. You need to, you go explain tire because you are dealing with people.
It's interesting. Well, are we done with, still have a few headlines?
That's basically it. Look, we have the very last one here, which is PDP convention. Conflicting judgment orders, not judicial failure, says. It's just so funny. Let's just go to the next.
All right. Well, the last paper here today is the New Telegraph newspaper. Above the nameplate again here, it says AMCON officials and lawyers face contempt charges for alleged contravention of court orders. What more do we find? Well, there's a rider. In fact, there are 2 riders there. You can read them up. Federal government halts proposed 15% import tariff on fuel diesel. All right, and then he goes ahead to say, World Cup playoffs, Osimhen backs brace as Eagles, crush Gabon to stay in a ticket hunt. All right, then you have one with a picture of President Trump there. It says, Trump signs bill to end record breaking U.S. shutdown. Of course, that's been here for a long time. Wike versus naval officer, insult to officer, insult to nation, General Rabo. That's former chief of defense staff, right? 2 riders or 3 riders with that headline for you. One of them says, nobody in Nigeria above rule of law, Wike insists. Senator Kalu calls for caution in appointment of military chiefs. Nigeria needs value-based communication strategy. That's federal government, of course, that goes without saying. Nigeria, one of the hungriest nations on earth, Peter Obi, of course, we have seen that report to say we rank amongst the first 10 in terms of food insecurity. That should, instead of complaining and arguing back and forth, trying to prove a point, jottle us to, shake us up into action, really. Food sufficiency is number 1. Everything else is secondary. Some people want PDP dead now to resurrect in 2031. That's Wabara saying that. Reps ask federal government to suspend WAEC's 2026 CBT exam policy till 2030. Ultra-processed foods linked to diabetes risk a young adults. That's according to a study, and I like this part so much. On the foods of the New Telegraph today says ultra-processed foods linked to diabetes risk in a young adult study. Well, those are your headlines from Nigerian newspapers, or at least some of them. Today, as always, we encourage you to look at these headlines and, of course, beyond the headlines, read up details for yourself. And just to also remind you that the headlines we bring for you, they're exactly as published by their respective publishers. Global Television or the team here on Global Morning has no contribution to them. It's 2025 World Diabetes Day. What exactly is the conversation about? We'll let you in on this and more after this break. Please do stay with us. It is World Diabetes Day 2025, and the theme for this year is diabetes across life stages. Now, diabetes can impact people across all life stages, including childhood, the reproductive years, working age, and older adulthood. Now, what's the key message from the World Health Organization this year? It's very clear. First, it says diabetes can affect people at every stage of life. Second, from childhood to older age, diabetes prevention and care efforts must be integrated across all life stages. And finally, supporting well-being and self-care empowers people with diabetes at every age. Priscilla and I were having a bit of a chit-chat off the cameras a while ago about all of this, more like a silent killer. And again, what are the factors driving this phenomenon? There's poverty, there's, if you like, a limited, very limited, or if you like, narrow access to functional health services, and then, of course, the awareness, it's also quite a challenge.
Well, the little I have known about diabetes, because I have family members that are actually going through this, and somehow it doesn't look it doesn't look very serious until it gets serious.
Really serious.
And then when it gets serious, it can be a torture, it can be a pain. You just go through so much pain, and all of that. And I think it starts from way younger, when you're quite younger, the kind of things you
lifestyle.
Your lifestyle. A lot of people, indulge in drinking, manner of alcohol, especially for.
I know it's tribulate when I see one, but it's fine.
Yeah. So it has a way of really piling up and waiting for you at that old age, and the old age comes with a lot of funny sicknesses if you're not intentional about your lifestyle when you're young. So as a young person, it's important to watch your lifestyle, the kind of, especially alcohol. I think is one of the major contributors to diabetes. I've not really heard about, and you don't want to find yourself in that old age being restricted on what to eat, don't eat this type of thing, eat that type of thing. It's a very difficult kind of lifestyle to live. The restriction of food is not something that is easy. So I think it's way better to curtail it as a young person. Watch your food. Do not drink carelessly. I want to ponder on this because it is something that I know, I have seen that has as a major cause of diabetes. Men that drink and they feel like they're drinking for fun. You drink and you drink away your future. Like you're drinking into sickness.
And you say you are turning up.
Exactly, you're turning up. It's fun. You're having all the fun.
1759.
Exactly. So it is something that everybody should really curtail. And then the kind of food you eat, make sure you eat balanced. That they say doctors will always say you're what you eat. Eating healthy, as a matter of fact, some people prefer to go and buy. They would say, I cannot eat healthy because it's expensive. How would I buy fruits? How would I? But they would go and buy one slimming tea of 40,000 naira. At the end of the day, you prefer to go and buy one bulk.
But you can't spend 5,000 buying vegetables and fruits.
Yeah, but you prefer to go buy slimming tea of 40,000 and to buy.
And it's not one-off. It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
So one pack is exhausted, you go back and you refresh.
Is it not better to spend that money on eating healthy? And eating healthy is not expensive. I remember when I was pregnant, the major nutrients I actually needed. There's this temptation, in pregnancy, you want to eat everything and you don't even want to care about your health. But I tell you the truth, most of the basic nutrients that baby needs, are in this small foods like sugarcane.
Right.
Do you understand? Very cheap foods.
Quite affordable.
Quite affordable. Do you get? Those are the foods that are packed with all this. So God is quite intentional when He created, everything He created, and living healthy is not expensive. I can tell you for a fact, because I know that the best of nutrients are packed in those things that you would look at and you would belittle. Right. Yeah. People want to go and take. You are sick. You're recommended to take some kind of herbs. Those herbs are cheap. You want to eat. You want to drink. The water of a particular kind of leaf. Those things are cheap. So
sometimes your neighbor has it in their compound.
Exactly. Those things are. There's this leaf they used to call hospital too far.
Hospital too far.
Hospital too far.
Right.
Exactly. Hospital too far. Those things are around us. So God was quite intentional about nature. Everything we need for health. I don't think it's so expensive. When it starts getting expensive is when you have neglected your immediate environment. You've piled up some kind of sicknesses, and then you start looking for solution. You run into everywhere. They say this one will work. This one will work. This one is the best. If you find yourself in that situation or in that position in life, I mean, it's a very funny one. It's not a place anybody wants to be. So prevention, they say, is always better than cure.
You see, you're saying this now. I know, of course, you're not a doctor, neither are you in the health space, but this is basic advice we take for granted. You're talking, and the only thing in my head is out that we must individually take responsibility for how we eat, starting with myself, for example. Okay, so here I am, for instance. I'm talking as first a human being before anything else. I say, okay, well, I don't feel like eating regular food, the carbs and all of that. So let's grab a bottle of drink, maybe a piece of snack, whatever that snack may be. Basic budgeting. So at the end of the day, you spend maybe between 3,000 and 3,500 naira. And then all of a sudden, I'm asking myself, if I have it, let's say 1,500, will I not cover a stick of cucumber? Maybe a cut of watermelon, and who knows, cap it off with a slice of pineapple or an apple, a ball of apple. All right, but people will say, no, now that one will not hold you, that is not feeling enough, as they say. I wanted to say it in pidgin, but you understand the point, right? They try to say that it will fill you enough, unlike one big lump of snack in your hand, a bottle of drink, and you're feeling touche, you're feeling on the go, you're telling yourself, well, we have to do this so we can get back to work. In fact, this is something you can be eating, you can be munching on while you're working. So you find all the excuses in the book, you also continue to indulge. But again, like you said, these choices are waiting for us, in a manner of speaking, right in front. And we must be able to make that tough call, all right, toe that tough path to tell ourselves that our health is first. We're here doing this show now because we are healthy, because not because we can come and talk, but God forbid a million times somebody is struck by any kind of disease or ailment or illness, the conversation will become quite a different one. We're taking a break again, everyone. When we return, we'll talk to you a bit more about diabetes. This time we'll be crunching the numbers coming from the World Health Organization. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, still talking about diabetes. The first ever global coverage targets for diabetes, that's according to the World Health Organization, adopted at the 75th World Health Assembly. That was in 2022, precisely May of that year. It says for the first time, WHO member states have supported the creation of global targets for diabetes as part of recommendations to strengthen and monitor diabetes responses within national non-communicable disease programs. Now, what are these targets? There are 5 new targets which now set the standard for 2030. That's the next 5 years. First of all, 80% of people with diabetes are diagnosed. So the WHO is targeting that by 2030, at least 80% of people who are living with diabetes would have already been diagnosed, right? 80% of people with diagnosed diabetes have good control of glycemia, all right? So that has to do with the vision, with sight. And then 80% of people with diagnosed diabetes have good control, not just control, good control of their blood pressure. And that's where you realize that's where the diagnosis even starts from. Check your blood sugar level, and then medical experts begin to advise you from that point on. Furthermore, 60% of people with diabetes of 30 years or older receive statins, and finally 100%, that's absolute, 100% of people with type 1 diabetes have access to affordable insulin and blood glucose self-monitoring. This is quite an audacious, if you like, ambitious targets by the World Health Organization.
And then it will need a collaboration of every country's intentionality, their intentionality in the health sector. I don't think diabetes has enough awareness in Nigeria,
right,
because I can tell you that a lot of people are living with diabetes that they don't even know. Those ones that are even a bit intentional about their lifestyle are the ones that have gone to the hospital, run tests, and all of that. Some people, believe in, I have heard someone say that she found out she was diabetes, and for I think over a month, she drank the water of bitter leaf. Constantly.
For how long?
For over a month.
Over a month.
Yes, she kept drinking it.
On a daily basis?
On daily basis, and it disappeared. I don't know how true it is, but I know.
We cannot recommend that.
Yes.
The person needs to probably be subjected to some sort of rigorous scientific research. Yes,
actually. But there are a lot of people that are living with diabetes in Nigeria. A lot of people have died. I know a cousin of mine that have died from diabetes. I mean, and some people do not discover it early enough. And coupled with the whole health sector.
Right.
Somehow you go today, you're finding out this is this, you find a lot of wrong results here and there. And someone that comes out on the internet to say, I was diagnosed of cancer.
Yeah.
And after breast cancer, after taking off my breast, I find out that I don't have cancer. Somebody came out on the internet.
Wrong diagnosis.
Wrong diagnosis. So it is still part of our health system.
Right.
People go to the hospital to find out their blood type, they are giving wrong results. And we still have that happen today. I know someone that was given a wrong blood group, and he had to do the test over and over again to be sure of the right result. At the end of the day, he found out that after taking the test over and over again, there was a different result. So we still have that in our health sector, in our health system. And it is where we should start from. Because if WHO is having such a target...
What's Nigeria's target?
What is Nigeria's target?
In support of whatever the WHO is advancing.
Exactly. And how are they demanding from the Nigerian government? Because somehow, I like their vision. It looks very good on paper.
Right.
Is it really practical in a country called Nigeria? Because
Nigeria, incidentally and curiously, is also signatory to all of these agreements and understandings, instruments, as they call them.
So I don't know how they work with all these countries, but I don't know how the success rates they have with other countries, and I don't know how they, call whatever they call success, because you see Nigeria still struggling with malaria. Somehow I still feel that the pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria benefit from all of this, and they intentionally just there's somebody in that system that just intentionally not wanting these things to go, so that somebody will make money selling off drugs, receiving hospital bills, and all of that. It's still part of the corruption in the health sector.
Right.
It is not as if we cannot defeat malaria in Nigeria. No. Who would buy the malaria drugs? How would those people that have been producing, selling malaria drugs make their money?
If you find a cure for it.
Exactly. So we are still gambling with, we are still using people's health issues for business. And I think it's part of the issues. Until we have that sincerity, you know, it is actually possible to defeat these things. It is not rocket science. As a matter of fact, it is very possible if we put in the right measure, the right, you know, plans, strategies. Everything is possible. But the question is, do we actually even want to do it?
You know, this is me being curious, Priscilla. So here we are, for example. Today is World Diabetes Day. Across the world, you will see a lot happening, so much, not just razzmatazz or media engagements, but real-time, practical, concrete efforts being made. In fact, people even coming, different nations across the world, coming to talk about what they have achieved the last 3 years, the last 5 years, for example. What are we going to be doing today as a country? We have the Federal Ministry of Health. We have state ministries of health across all 36 states. Of course, you have the Abuja, where you also have an equivalent of a commissioner in the state, which is the mandate secretary. What will be the conversation? Is it just going to be, as one of our senior colleagues would call it, an event to drink water and just exchange notes and go home for the record so we can justify the allocation that we got for those events or those initiatives? Or are we going to be sincere enough or truthful enough, all right, truthful to ourselves enough to say, look, we have failed in this regard, but this is the second best time to reset efforts towards curbing the adverse impacts of diabetes in our society. But again, you need people who love the country. You need people who understand the fundamentals of service to do that, not just people who are appointed for political reasons, not just people who see appointments as a chance to show off and, of course, push personal interest. But again, we need to realize finally that this is about human life and it's about Nigeria. And when you talk about life expectancy concern in Nigeria, these are some of the issues. So what is the life expectancy of the person who is between mid-20s and mid-30s in Nigeria dealing with diabetes?
Well, we cannot talk about that because we are not intentional enough. I think the best one we see today are NGOs coming out to do their thing. I don't think, I hope I am being shocked, but I can bet that
you are not
so much intentional effort from them. And it also goes to talk about, you know, how are these appointments made? Or what really do we appoint someone that's supposed to care for lives? You know, someone that's supposed to, anybody that is working in the health sector, be a nurse, a doctor. Before you go to study anything called medicine, somehow you should be someone that's empathetic, right? Have a level of empathy. And it goes to those that will also be appointed. You cannot just appoint somebody based on political, you know, affiliations or whatever it is. No. There are criteria in some offices. There are criteria to, you know, to really assess. There are criteria to note if you want to appoint some kind of person. You cannot appoint, you know, someone that's not, for a Minister of Education, appoint someone that has never been passionate about Nigeria's educational system, you just want to put him there. And then you're going to the health sector. You're not considering that this person is supposed to be here to, at least we should be able to record, you know, success. We should be able to record that in this person's tenure, this particular sickness dropped. In this person's tenure, that is the goal. That should be the mandate to be given to them. But I mean, we have what we have in Nigeria. Everybody just, the best we've seen in the health, why I even call it the health sector, is the likes of Dora Akunyili in NAFDAC, late Dora Akunyili. That was like the best and the last time we have ever seen a sector work. For me, it was like the last. So
the question is, have we raised the bar since then, or we have continued to allow it drop?
We have dropped the bar. We have not even taken it, you know,
higher.
We have totally sunk it. In short, there's no bar at all right now. That is just the situation we have.
Quite shameful, must say. But again, there's always a second chance. Maybe in the case of Nigeria, it could be the 20th chance. But we've got to come to a point, and there's no better time than now to tell ourselves that we're not getting these things right. And these are fundamentals. When you talk about the Human Development Index, HDI, how you measure the health of a country, these are fundamentally the elements, the variables you're looking at. If you don't get it right with food security, things around health, basics like education, infrastructure, then on what grounds, by what metrics are we going to measure the progress you're making as a nation? And let's also be clear, when we ran it off 15 years of the Millennium Development Goals, Nigeria was nowhere to be found. And we kickstarted again in 2015 or 2016 the Sustainable Development Goals, which will cycle out in about 5 years. Where will Nigeria be or stand when the roll call is made? Well, Let's not answer that. It's a rhetorical question. We'll take a quick break, everyone. When we return, we'll do some business with you on the program. Do stay with us. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for still being here with us. Now, Nigeria has one of the youngest populations in the world, with millions of talented people, creative, innovative, all young Nigerians, but many of them face unemployment, many of them face underemployment, and even the lack of opportunities. Entrepreneurship right now has increasingly become more than just an option. It is a necessity. But the big question is, how do we move from a generation that is waiting for jobs to a generation that creates jobs? How do we build, youth who are not just skilled, who are not just talented, but are self-reliant? Because we really do have a lot of talented people. The question is usually, or the problem is about using the talent to become self-reliant individual, to become value-driven and prepared to contribute to ultimately our national transformation. To help us break this down, I have a guest. I would like to call him a serial entrepreneur, because he's someone that is passionate about entrepreneurship and, youth involvement, youth development. He is right here with us in the studio. You're welcome, sir. Inalego Ejembi. You're welcome to the studio virtually, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for being with us today.
God bless you. How is everybody in the house?
We're great. We're great. So let's go to the first question now. I think one of my encounters with you was seeing you, trying to coach or, talk to motivate a youth that was in that environment that I was. Now, as an entrepreneur, how would you describe the current state of, Nigerian youth entrepreneurship in Nigeria?
Yeah, good. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Actually, I think in the introduction I've properly done, I'm Inalego Ejembi by name. You see, today in Nigeria, entrepreneurship is one of the heartbeats when it comes to standard business that lasts long. Entrepreneurship is one of the business on multi-level marketing. But it's unfortunate that our educational system here in Nigeria is like somehow not promoting entrepreneurship how it should be or how it should go. So that makes so many Nigerian youths don't even understand entrepreneurship or multi-level marketing. They look at it like it's for those who don't have something to do, or maybe those who are not opportune to have to go to school, or maybe those who don't have a better credential or certificate, or those who are not opportune to get a better job. That is how they rate entrepreneurship somehow here in Nigeria. But I'm here to let us know that is the final frontier for human development. You see, entrepreneurship is something that you can start from zero to hero. I will use a layman language so that every other person can understand us. I'm not here to speak any grammar that somebody says I don't understand. No, let's speak home. Let's speak pidgin. Everybody will understand. Just like as well as I'm passionate about it. You know, I lost my job during COVID-19. I was stranded. And someone met me and told me about entrepreneurship. Long story make short, I key into it. At that time, I was a keke rider. But I key into it. I went for a business seminar. I listened and I learned about entrepreneurship. One of the key of entrepreneurship is when you can go deeper and secure what they call ID number. ID number is one of the key. ID number is like your phone number. That whenever you load recharge card, you pay to somebody or you pay to people's account. And nobody pays to your own account. Entrepreneurship is wide. Entrepreneurship, you see, agriculture, all manner of business are there. And now, listen to me carefully. Myself talking to you, I am back on this journey about 4 years ago. Today, I have people who make above 200, 300, 400 to 500, 600,000 in 30 days. Entrepreneurship help you. You don't need to wait for somebody to employ you before you do what you want to do. After all, as there is no as a salary earner, you don't really have that opportunity to build. If you are a salary earner, somebody is your boss. Now,
okay.
Now, your boss employ you to fulfill his own mission or to build his own empire.
Well, I don't really think that is the case, because I really think there are levels to these things. There is what I call planning, right? It's a great thing that everybody would be an entrepreneur, but the thing is, not everybody would actually be. But in the pursuit of entrepreneurship, as an entrepreneur, I believe that you are your customers are actually your boss too. So I don't feel like it's an issue of boss or subordinate, whatever. It is. It's the word boss is relative. I want to believe. If I am an entrepreneur, I should see my customers as a boss. So we're not running away from having a boss, right? Entrepreneurship is not running away from having a boss, but somehow being self-reliant, being able to contribute to the national economy.
What we, for instance, now what we mean by boss, what we are referring by boss in entrepreneurship, listen to me now. For instance, what do you know? There's a reason why they call somebody civil servants. You see, sometimes here the way we explain things, sometimes it's not how it is. I'll give you an example. Now, this is a question I want to ask. For instance, if they write on the board, civil servant needed, and they write civil slave needed, which one will you go for?
Well, servants. Servants is... We're all called to be servants, right? We're all called to serve. A servant is someone that serves.
Well, let me not go that way, because many people will look at it somehow, argument, because we are very, very good in serving people, but we're not very good in serving ourselves. Now listen to me. There is a reason why somebody is called civil servant. Can't you see so many people who work for 35 years, depending only on, it's not bad to work, it's not bad to be a civil servant, but it is very dangerous to end as a civil servant.
Okay, so what we're saying is we can have multiple sources of income.
Source of income.
Yeah.
You can emphasize it like having other means of income. For instance, now, I myself talking to you, I started this business without money. For instance, you look for a genuine company that have a future and a company that have a product that is essential. Now, when you are saying, look at now, let's take example, the richest man today on earth is Elon Musk. So?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the services he's rendering to mankind, you should know that this person deserves what or the level he is.
Okay.
Are you getting it now?
Absolutely.
Now, you can't excel without selling. That is just it. If you want to be great, you must learn how to sell something. Now, you see some people that are into real estate. You see some people that are into agriculture. You see some people, yes, you can be in all these things. But there's something that makes you different when you come into entrepreneurship. What makes you different is ID number. Now, you don't just buy and sell when it comes to entrepreneurship. Now, you don't just buy and sell in the sense that, for example, you look for a genuine company, as I earlier stated, you partner with a particular company. Now, when you partner with a particular company, you are not working for that company. You are working with that company.
Okay, so is it just about partnering? It's about what you can actually offer. Because now, a lot of people look at, let's look at it this way. A lot of people look at entrepreneurship as, I get what you're trying to say. It's not just about trying to start your own thing. But how about people that want to start their own thing? There are people that will have different kind of personalities. There are people that prefer to start from afresh and grow. And I think maybe let's focus on them for now. We might go to the other kind of people that might want to partner, with others. But for somebody that wants to start, I have a skill. I have a skill. How do I make my skill? How do I become self-reliant? How do I become independent?
How you come up with a brand?
Yes.
Now, I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
All these things you are saying, when you say entrepreneurship, you must see we have different seminar, we have different class, we have leadership classes, we have product knowledge, there are other training that develop you. That thing you are doing that look local, how to develop it, to bring it up to become international. In conclusion, you must have a coach. I'll give you an example.
You must have a mentor.
You must have a coach. You must have a
that
leader that guide you. People who have passed through where you are,
where you want to be,
can tell you more about what you are doing. For instance, there are some people that are into maybe liquid soap. Some people are tailoring. Some people are other. What we are saying here is that a tree cannot make a forest. That's what we are saying here. You must learn what they call teamwork. Without team, I am telling you the truth, you hardly go far. Because team is the key to this success we are talking about. Now, when we say team, we are talking about people. How do you manage people? First of all, you must learn how to be organized, self-organized. Then you can now organize people. When you can also, if you can organize yourself, before you think of having an organization. Now,
okay, you must organize yourself before you think of having an organization. How can I organize myself? Let's think
myself. That is the first thing you need to know. Now, I'm sorry. Hello.
I can hear you. I'm with you.
Hello.
I'm with you.
Hello. Are you there?
I'm with you.
Okay, I'm sorry. A call just interrupted. Now, when you are able, how do you organize yourself? I told you need a coach. For example, you see like a football club. They play together as a team. Hello?
Yes.
Now, they play together as a team. When somebody scores a goal, they celebrate together. They say it's our goal. They said we have scored a goal. But one particular person scored that goal.
Yes.
But of that club work that goal together, and somebody eventually score that goal. That is their goal. Now, one thing you learn from entrepreneurship, you learn how not to work alone. That's number one. If you work alone, you can't go far. Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Now, when you are like now you have a product, you must learn how to have not just to advertise your product, how to attend to your customers, how to meet up at the right time. What if you observe the TomTom we used to know about 25 years ago, that is not how it is. The name is still TomTom. But you see that they keep changing the brand, they do some things. Like these people they always think ahead of time. What do we need to do? What did the people need? Now, every design you see on earth today is somebody's thinking. The clothes you are wearing there is somebody's thinking. The house you see today is somebody's thinking, somebody's design. Now, you might be able to design and have all this thinking, but how do you execute it? That is why now you have a dream. How do you achieve this dream? You need a team of people to come together. You need some lecture. We call it business class. There are classes, if you like, you might be a graduate, be a professor. You are not too big for this class. You must come to learn how to become productive with what you are doing. And a time come, you no longer be depending on someone before you do what you want to do.
Okay, let's talk about the relevance of entrepreneurship on Nigeria. Now, when education came into Nigeria, it was it came in to train people to be able to be civil servants, be able to work for people. But right now the tides have changed, and a lot of people say for Nigeria to meet up with other countries, we need to learn how to export our own product. We need to have, or even to have our own product, to use our own product. That's the only way the Naira can actually have value. And right now, a lot of Nigerians are coming to that realization that I need to, somehow they are coming to terms with all of these realities. Now, what is the impact of entrepreneurship? If we have a lot of Nigerian youth right now, delving into entrepreneurship, what do you think the impact would be on, at the national level or on our economy at large, from your own perspective and experience?
Now, the line is, I'm not getting you clearly, but let me just answer
the impact of entrepreneurship on our economy. Do you think
the impact on it reduces unemployment. That's number one.
Okay.
Now, number two, it gives the youth confidence. Now, you don't need to, if you see 10 coppers, NYC coppers coming today, you stop them. If you ask them, after service, what next? They will tell you, job. Now, this job we are talking, this Mr. Job, how do you create anyone? You say, no, I will look for it. Now, if you looking for job, I am looking for job, who will now create the job? Now, our systems sometimes don't really give us that confidence to know that, look, I can do this. So we are all dependent. We all look for job. But entrepreneurship make it easy for you and I to know that we don't need to look for job. We can create a job. If you look around yourself, there's something you can do. And you can think of how to develop it. That is why you need to partner with at least one genuine organization that have a dream, maybe that is in line with your dream or your target. And at times you might not even know anything to do, but you still go there and listen and learn. You might discover yourself. The reason why we look for job is because we cannot create anyone. I'll give you an example. Somebody graduated as a petrochemical engineering, for instance. This person cannot produce any chemical. He cannot even produce paint to paint a house. So he's only been carried around with the credential. Now you must look for somebody to employ you. If not, you are useless.
Well, I think it's a transition. The process of the mentorship process, now having a coach, sometimes jobs can actually give you the experience that you need to be able to start your own thing. If you don't transition properly, sometimes you are half baked. The reason why people should find jobs, in my opinion, is for the purpose of mentorship and training, because you need experience after going to school. The problem will now be when you're not having the thought of someday starting something from whatever experience you are gaining, or even I think Nigerian youth somehow go into job spaces sometimes. They create nuisances in job spaces, and it's part of the reasons why a lot of companies are not productive enough as they should be. So if you have a mentality of, like you have said, go and partner, in this sense, I want to see partnering as going to look for a job in that space, giving your best. There's a way you put in your best in a particular organization that somehow you'll be elevated to know that you are a partner indeed. Do you get? And at that point when you say, I want to go and start something, you are able to still contribute. Do you understand? And you're able to still receive support from wherever it is you are in. So I think it's a mentality thing for Nigerians. Being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that, I cannot find a job, but it should be a season. A season of training for myself, a season of, building, a season of gaining experience, for whatever it is I want to venture in. So the mentality should be somebody that is productive, be somebody that is impactful, be somebody that is an agent of change wherever you find yourself, be somebody that will be able to create change. You don't just go to work for somebody. Even as an entrepreneur, you're going to create job, and you're going to have people that would work under you. If you're not somebody that has been able to build yourself in a way that you are productive, you will have people come under you, and they are just there to just sit, relax, at the end of the month, receive salaries. If you don't have the experience, or if you're not someone that have grown from the scratch to the top, you will not be able to mentor those people properly. You will not be able to build them properly, to be able to even give you their very best. It's a leadership thing. It's training. Do you understand? So that is where I'm looking at it from. And then we should be able to, okay, let me ask from what I have just said now. What are the skills, the top skills that you think every Nigerian must have to survive, today's economy? That is, depending on what phase or level you are, or what transitioning point you are, what are those top skills that you would use to thrive and eventually venture into your own stuff?
Now, for example, now let me use agriculture for example. Do you know that as I speak to you, this popular bird called broiler, and this popular fish called catfish, and like fruit like mango, like guava, like other fruits, for instance. If you notice, like there are some certain particular season where you don't see mango in the market easily. Now, if you want to make money, for instance, you don't want to be dependent for it, just as you earlier said. Now, you think you can go to your backyard, for instance, get a mango tree, a stem, cut it, bring it to your garden, a semi-garden in your backyard. You start something. There is a season, there is a way you will plant a mango, not a seed. That one is not something I will tell you on. I don't know how to discuss that with you on air. There is a way you can plant a mango stem and get a mango fruit at any season of your choice. Okay. Many people know about this, but the patient to start small and believe that if I increase this thing, if I can have up to 50 pieces of mango, let's say maybe in 6 months I started something, and within 6 months I am able to maybe start producing like 50 to 70 pieces fruits of mango, and people will patronize me. Now, we don't have that patient. Most of us, the youth, if you go to where they are playing Bet Naija right now, as I speak to you, the place is filled up. Everybody is in a hurry this generation. Nobody, when you even talk of learning, somebody who comes to learn from you want to start making money even before you that is teaching them. So that patient to learn is not there. Now, as I speak to you, I can go to my backyard, get a mango stem, start planting them. I know how to do that. And within few months, I can have a mango fruit. If I can mass produce, if I can do that massively, I can also have a massive plant. Now, right, so I talk of team. If I can do a little, you do a little, you do a little, and we bring them together, it will become much. That will call attention of people. Like if you go to social area, any season you can get mango fruit. I'm talking of mango. I'm not talking of tomato. I'm not talking of orange. There
any
are other
season.
things like yes, in any season.
Both the dry season and the rainy season.
Pardon?
Both in the dry season.
Every season.
Wow.
Yes, it's possible. There are people who even know what I'm saying better than me. But these people, they are hanging somewhere collecting 40,000 as a salary because they don't believe in themselves. Because they have not attended any class, any training that made them to know that, look, there is something in you that you can do and focus. We're talking of exporting. Do you know if you go to places now, how do you there are a lot of things here in Nigeria that we can engage ourselves. We make reasonable money. But the truth, as I earlier told you, everybody focus looking for this job. And I said it's not bad to get a job. But while you are there, remember a time there is a reason why they retire people at the age of 35 of service and 60 years of age and all of that. At that point, your pinna glada is weak. You can't think well again. You are no longer really useful to that organization again because your pinna glada, that is your brain, is weak. That is the time, that is the season that somebody will now say, now I want to go and serve myself. Now, you can't, the reason why they retire you is because they see that the vital part of your life, you know, you have used it or it has been used. What I'm saying here, you can have a job and still pay time or pay attention to something. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It will also help your work, and you not be to be stressful. Maybe you are making like 100,000 as a salary, and you started something very little. Within period of time, maybe 1 year, 2 years, nobody have heard of you. But in the next 4 years, you explode. And you grow well. But the problem we have here is that everybody want to blow overnight without doing anything. You can't be, look, go and check very well. Go and check very well. There is no successful salary earner on earth. All the people you are hearing their name from number 1 to 10, go and check. None of them is, they may start from salary somewhere. But these people, there is something they were doing that nobody is aware. Until you come to a point of realization that, look, nobody can do it for me. You can learn from people. You can work with people. But you must have this mindset that, look, this is what I want, and this is what I want to be. Then the question of how do I get there will come. Now, when I'm talking of plantation like mango, it's not only mango. We have today, there are other farming going on today, like all this lava, what do you call it? This maggot farming and all of that, which have reduced the cost rate of fish food today in the market. You can get up today and train maggot and sell maggot, and if possible, you can also export maggot.
Wow.
It's possible. Yes. But many people are not ready to keep. They look at it like a waste of time or maybe a delay.
Okay, let's talk about the challenges so that the more people that, you know, decide to venture into entrepreneurship.
Hello,
I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's talk about the challenges of entrepreneurship. Are you with me? Let's talk about the challenges of entrepreneurship. What are the challenges that I'm supposed to face or that I'm likely to face as an entrepreneur?
Number one greatest challenge is that when you start, you know, in the beginning, nobody believes you. In the beginning, people look at you as if you are mad. Like you don't know what you are doing. And that weighs so many people down. Number two, many people don't understand the power of rejection. What is the power of rejection? For instance, no matter how good is your product, there are people who will talk you down. They will just look at you and say, I don't. There are people who will look at you and let you know that go and look for something else to do. Or we're not interested. So at that beginning point, nobody in Nigeria here, because it is not our way, it is not the kind of our domestic business. Our normal domestic business, you go and cook up, you hawk it, you go and buy, you look at people, somebody selling, maybe gathering something like recharge, power bank, phone accessory, go and borrow money from somewhere, sit down, and then started doing it. You go to POS stand, you get a box, you say I'm earning a living. Yes, it's good to earn a living. But what we are looking at, at that beginning, this is what people know as a business. If you are doing POS, people admire you. They believe you are hardworking. Like when I was driving Keke Napep, it's very good. Some people look at me and say, you are hardworking. You are. But I want to ask you a question. Since people have been driving Keke Napep, doing Okada, how many Okada do you know today that has maybe have empowered many people through Okada, and many people are living large, and this person can travel abroad, maybe do many things as a successful person. So there are so many things that we do here. People admire it. But we are not really doing it to succeed.
They call you hardworking, not basically admiring it. They just call you a hard worker. I don't think people really admire it. They just, want to portray you as a hard worker.
And unknowingly to our people here, people work hard to be rich, and people work harder to be poor.
That's so deep.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
So you need to sit down and look into it. Both the rich and the poor are working hard. The big thing is that the poor are working more harder.
They're working harder than the rich. Yeah, I'm with you. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Oh, we seem to be losing connection there. Let's just go for a quick break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Right, thank you for still being here with us. We're still with Enalegu Ejembi, and we're just wrapping up the conversation right now because, it's been an enlightening conversation. But before we go, we were talking about the challenges. Maybe we'll just take a few on it, and just in 2 minutes, let's wrap up the conversation because I think we're out of time, but indeed it's been insightful. So are you there? Are you there?
Yeah.
So we're talking about the challenges. Maybe you just wrap that up.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so, in the beginning, nobody believes you, no support, because they don't actually know what you are doing. Are you getting what I'm saying now?
Yes.
Nobody believes you. For example, another thing I want to let you know. Do you still believe that up to date, with Nigeria as a country, we still import toothpick? Now, if I sat myself down and I think, how can I get a machine to make it possible that I can produce like maybe 200 bunch of toothpick in a day? And how can I make this toothpick more quality and more original than any other one, any other brand in the market? And look for people who have the same dream with me. Let's go get together and push it and believe in our dream. One day, the world must surely knows us. But here, well, as you started it, maybe you started from your like manpower, energy, and all of that. I hope you know in those days, broom that we used to sweep, there's no machine that produce broom. But we are able to produce broom that maybe you see trailer carrying broom from one state to another state. And there is no way you can peel that palm tree broom. But there is no way you can peel two at a time. You must peel it one after the other as you look at it. There was a time that people were so dedicated to it that they were doing it as a living. Now, all these things are things that we need to develop. Now, when you started it, people now look at you as if like you are going back to the old fashion. There are people still using it. If you can have, let's say, 2 trailers of broom to supply, let me just say like 8 people during their campaign.
That's strategic. Yes.
And then the money I make, I'll now think, how can this thing continue even when I'm no longer alive? How will it continue? This, I want it to become a brand. At the beginning, nobody support you. So many people give up at the beginning stage. Some are almost dead because of no support. At times, government also need to look into it and see that this person or these people are trying to reduce unemployment, are trying to reduce some certain things. Now, but there will be no support from the government, and there are some places that you need to go to get some materials for yourself, maybe because no, you are not well known, the money is not really there, you are struggling from the beginning. You know, you need to struggle, you need to pay a lot of price before people will know you. Many people will not support you. So you need to believe yourself, you need to stand. But there are some places you cannot go because of insecurity, some other things. So it becomes a terrible thing that many people, when they started, there are a lot of things that make them give up on their goal.
Okay.
So you know, now, nobody will call them and say, I'll secure a job for you, and they'll let go their dream.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I think this is where we wrap it up. Your conversation, or the conversation, has really been insightful. And I'm sure our viewers has picked, you'll pick one or two from what you've said. But I see that you're well into agriculture, and we'll bring you proper for an agricultural conversation maybe next time. But thank you so much. It's been insightful with you. So viewers, this is where we wrap up this very segment of the conversation. Global Morning would wrap up officially in a bit. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
intentionally if Nigeria really wants to be relevant in the world, because we need to be in that space where we produce at least what we use, everything we use, before we even talk of exporting. But let's be that everything we make, everything we want to use, we're able to fetch it. And my guest says, he said, toothpick is still imported into Nigeria. And I'm wondering how. I used to think it's an old narrative, but I don't know how true it is, really, that we still import toothpick till
into
date.
our country.
That's
you know, some years ago, I came across some Nigerian flag. I mean, somebody selling Nigerian flags somewhere, you know, around October 1st, or for the purpose of October 1st, people are selling flags all over the place, because in schools most times, like in my children's school, they would ask them to come with a flag and things like that. So I noticed that these flags were made in India.
Wow.
This was more than a decade ago. Whether that has changed or not, I don't know. But who would have thought 10 years ago, for example, we couldn't make flag? Even 30 years ago, we couldn't make flag. Our own flag, yes, not another country's flag. So if you can make your own flag, what else are you making? If you can produce toothpick in your country, or pig stick as my friend calls it, what else are you producing? If you can't produce handkerchiefs in Nigeria, you still have to depend on some manufacturers in Far East Asia. What else are you producing? All right, these are very disturbing questions.
Very disturbing. And then we're looking at, are we talking about, are we going to recruit, you know, those guys that are already of age, or we're going to focus on the young ones? Is it too late to start going to learn a skill even at your 40s, at your 50s? Or do we just, okay, let's train our children, let's make sure we get it right with them, because somehow...
change the narrative.
Yes.
You know, this is very important, because again, it touches on entrepreneurship and the small, the micro, small and medium enterprises space. Many years, some years ago, former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, did talk about how that the small businesses, right? I mean, all those businesses are along that spectrum of MSMEs, are the ones that drive a country's economy.
Actually.
From continental America to Europe to Asia to the Middle East, even to Africa. But again, the only wahala, if you ask me, is whether Africa realizes that already. Because look at our trade, I mean, balance of trade between Nigeria and any other country outside of Africa, for example, and see how there's so much of imbalance, all right? One is tilting in favor of the other countries, not in favor of Nigeria. So it means that beyond teaching it in school, and of course, teaching it very effectively, all the other factors must be taken into consideration, which we call ultimately a friendly business environment, right? We must have conducive business environment. We must have that. We must have access to capital for critical sectors, whether for agriculture, for tech, for those other ancillary services that support education and health. We must have all of that. We must educate our people on entrepreneurship. We must make people understand that it is production that actually drives an economy. It is not how much you're bringing. Somebody said finally that, look, when cargo planes come into Nigeria, they come loaded and fully stacked. They're leaving Nigeria most times empty or half full. Because, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You can't give what you don't have. So how do we work hard and smart enough? Create a timeline for ourselves. No pressure, really. Just create a timeline. Set the KPIs and drive the economy. But again, like I always would ask, can you do all of this if you are not sincere about the project in the first instance?
It's actually very possible for that Nigerian out there. I think ultimately the question is, how supportive
are we to that Nigerian?
Exactly.
Well, we'll continue to talk about support on all fronts, including as it has to do with micro, medium, and small-scale enterprises. And of course, for the large corporations, many of which are beginning to spring up in our country and across the continent. This is where we're living it on Global Morning. This very productive and promising Friday. Remember that the views of our guests across all of our programs are their opinions. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe.
And I am Priscilla Obasi, wishing you a beautiful weekend.